to the Red Leaf Card, your home for Canadian soccer news and views. My name is Jacob, and today we're going to talk about the 2026 FIFA World Cup Finals and the third place match, and the Canadian Prime Minister investing $1 billion in sporting, and also the Premier Soccer Leagues Canada trying to push the Prairies Premier League for a spot in the Canadian Championship. But starting with the 2026 FIFA World Cup, as Spain defeats Argentina 1-0 in extra time as Ferran gets the game winner. A surprising matchup for Spain to get their second title in the men's side for the FIFA World Cup. And it's a congrats to them. I would have to say something that Spain deserved it. It showed class that Spain were showing their performance on the match. Argentina, in my opinion, did not do really well. Of the whole 120 minutes that was played in the match, I have to say that Argentina just was terrible. They had 3 shot attempts in that match, and Spain blew them in shot attempts. I would have to say the goalkeeper for Argentina deserves a lot of credit for saving so many shots. But Spain finally gets a goal in. And that is something. That is really something for Spain. I think, to be honest, seeing how Spain performed, I really think that's, again, Spain deserved it. So congrats to them for winning their second World Cup. And now you look at it, again, if you look at Spain, they're 1 trophy behind of Argentina. They're ahead of England for World Cup trophies. They've shown a lot that now maybe Spain could actually be the favors, maybe in the future, to win more. As I would have to say, now when I look at Spain surpassing England, now looking at Spain defeating France to try to get to the finals, France and England, that third place spot was, in my opinion, the best. That was the best match that the 2026 FIFA World Cup played. They deserved it. I think, no question about it. England coming third is something that to be happy about. And again, this is going to be their second podium in the FIFA World Cup since 1966, since actually even winning the World Cup. But they deserved a lot of credit of actually coming third, of struggling to be that top 3 country, to being one of those top 3 countries in the World Cup, to be the best. And I think even actually beating France, for being a country who actually were the most dominant country, showed its performance, that they won the World Cup in Russia. Now you look at France, that they lost to Argentina in Qatar. And now France going to the third place matchup, now to 4th spot, losing. That is something that you look at. Oh, there's the downfall of France. But I feel like France showing that, you let in 4 goals in the first half was not something that you wanted to actually show. And that's something you don't want to actually show. You don't want that. So hats off to the 3 countries, Spain, Argentina, and England, being the podium winners in the World Cup of 2026. And hoping the next 4 years that there will be a new winner, or maybe a repeat of Spain to win it. But let's see how that 2030 World Cup goes. So, in Canada, as noticed, shown a lot of rise to it, that, hey, the Prime Minister of Canada actually had some response to this whole Canada soccer, for how they performed in the World Cup. Hey, you know what? Maybe Canada is going to do something good to actually do something to invest. Canada is now investing $1 billion to improve access to sport, to upgrade stadiums, fields, and local parks, and to provide talent with sources to get from playground to podium. But my actual question is, if the Canadian government is going to spend $1 billion in that, and this is taxpayer money from Canadians. This is not usually what you're going to expect investors coming in from other countries, per se. This is not actually something that some other company is going to use. But again, it's taxpayer money. But there could actually be maybe other investors that will be interested, that would actually be interested to help out. But again, it always questions about Canada soccer. That is something that a lot of people who are on the Canada soccer side saying, will this actually improve of investors to establish professional teams in the Canadian Premier League, or for example, the Northern Super League, or maybe trying to establish academies to provincial leagues? That is something a lot of people are going to question about the Canadian government investing $1 billion to do all this for sporting facilities, or to stadiums, or from local parks, or many other things that are sport related. That is a concern some people who are in the soccer side of things, or any in general. So I do question a lot what the Canadian government is going to do with this $1 billion that they would call it investment, that if you would see in future would we see an improvement that the Canadian Premier League could see a boost of investors trying to establish a team, or even also the Northern Super League to try to invest to establish a team there? So that is really something I really concerned about in the run for that the Canadian government is going to do. So hoping in the future that will fix things. So talking about the Prairies Premier League, that their first season, which was kind of a pilot project of a season, which they call it a regular season of the 2026 season for the Prairies Premier League, has finished. And the winners for the men's side, Thunder Bay Chill, congrats to them. People on the Ontario side should be surprised for that. And including for on the women's side, the Winnipeg team, Bonavitchell Flames, winning the 2026 season for women's. Congrats to those two teams for the 2026 season. And hearing on the side of Premier Soccer Leagues Canada that next season that they'll try to push the Prairies Premier League to having a spot for the Canadian Championship. Basically talked with. So they're trying to go to the Canadian Soccer Association to try to push for the Prairies Premier League to get a spot, but that's going to be kind of, in my opinion, going to be tough for them. But again, if that actually succeeds, congrats to the Prairies Premier League that they will be in the Canadian Championship. But see how it goes. Also for the next season, for other maybe expanding more academy teams to actually be competing in the Prairies Premier League. Now, also heard from Dino Rossi from Premier Soccer Leagues Canada that he will actually have a time in the Maritimes where, again, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, which again, that they had a Maritimes Summer League like there that actually happened. And again, maybe there might be a chance that they might try to push for a league in the Maritimes for Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, maybe including Prince Edward Island in the future. So that's something that'll be great to see, that you have the Prairies and now they're going for the Maritimes in Canada, where New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island, it will be fantastic. And in the Ontario Premier League, for the Women's Ontario Premier League Cup, as the finals, the 2026 finals, as Hamilton United versus Guelph United. That is a team where Hamilton United, being the Ontario Premier League second division side, which they tried to be basically also the first team to win the Ontario Premier League Cup, but also trying to be the first team from a lower division of the Ontario Premier League to win it. But Guelph United gets to win their first Ontario Premier League Cup on the women's side. And congrats to them to destroying Hamilton United 5-0 in that matchup. And we got to interview the head coach for Guelph United on his take.
Along with Michael Warden, the head coach of Guelph United for the women's team, and being the first time for Guelph United's women's side to win an Ontario OPL Cup for 2026. What is your thoughts on getting the first OPL Cup?
No, it feels fantastic. I think a lot of the credit just has to go towards the players. They've been fantastic from the beginning of the season till now. We had a really tough road to get here and another tough final to play. I thought Hamilton really made it difficult for us early. As the game kind of went on and we began to show our quality in some of the moments that mattered, and that ended up being the difference in it. But it was a really tightly contested final, and I'm really, really proud of the group. I thought they played tremendous, again, to get here, but then tonight to really be able in the second half to turn it up and increase their level of performance is fantastic. So a lot of credit goes to them, but it feels really good to get this program the recognition that it deserves in this moment. These girls, a lot of them have been here for a long time, and our additions this year have just fit the group seamlessly. On all the players all week long have just been about being together, right? And I think tonight really proved that.
And also mention about mentioning Hamilton United being a team that's in the Ontario Premier League's 2 side, which is division down. What do you think about a team from below a division that actually made it to the finals of beating the divisions above?
No, I think Hamilton should absolutely feel tremendously proud of their performance. Like you said, it's honestly what cup football is all about, and it's why it's such a magical event. Teams across OPL competed in it in 3 different divisions, and for them to go on the run that they did, they have to feel absolutely proud of that and their performance to get here. It's a really good side. And I said it kind of in my pre-match interview. There's no easy games in this league. Whether you're in the first division, the second division, the reserve divisions, it does not matter. Every game is difficult. There are so many good teams throughout the leagues, and I think Hamilton's really a testament to that. They were very organized. They had a clear plan in place, and they've got some very, very good players that kept us on our toes, especially early in the match. So they should feel, unbelievable levels of accomplishment and pride in the run that they had.
And also taking the MVP for the Ontario Premier League Cup, Elise Bell. What you think? What your thoughts on her performance, taking the 2 goals?
Yeah, I think it's a great testament to her versatility, her character, and her ability. I think, she's been playing as an attacker for us for most of her time this season. And tonight we asked her to go to turn back the clock and become a fullback for us early. Obviously picked up the yellow card against a very, very tricky winger, and she was able to manage that situation first and foremost. And I think her defending actions and just getting comfortable in the game really allowed her to find her foothold. Of course, it's difficult on that card. She can't, make some of those challenges that she's so used to making. And getting as tight as she wants to, but she managed that really well. And in the second half, when we moved her higher up the pitch, she showed her quality. She was able to get on the ball, she was able to threaten them consistently, and that's what she does best. When she really goes and she gets on the ball and she drives us forward, we are a very dangerous team on every night. So full credit to her. I thought she had a really awesome final. She saved, some of her best performances for, the last few weeks leading into here, and so tonight was no different.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
And that's full time of the Red Leaf Card. You could follow us on X, Spotify, and YouTube. I'm your host, Jacob, subbing out.